Please help me welcome to the stage, Charlie Stephan.
There is so much that I want to remember to tell you, which is why I always write you these letters, because it's important that you remember what you were like as a baby. And today's letter is a little bit different because it's not about you, and it's going to be kind of tough because it's about your first best friend. A couple of days ago, we had to say goodbye to him, and Mommy and Daddy are still very sad about it. But it's important that you know that just because he was sick and just because he was so full of love and life and energy to the very end, we didn't even know that anything was wrong. And Zoe, when you came along, he wasn't necessarily a big fan. You were a chew toy that he wasn't allowed to chew on, and you also slept very close to the people bed, which he used to sleep in with the boy before the woman ever came around, but things changed. And the dog never dealt with change very well. On the way home the first time, he cried for 45 minutes and barfed 3 times. He was a friggin' mess. But his boy had treats, and he seemed nice, so the dog decided he would love him forever. When the boy went to work, the dog showed that love by barking and howling as loud as he could, and the neighbors showed their love by asking to have them evicted. So they moved to a house with a fenced-in yard, and the dog was never happier. He never wanted things to change. But then the boy met the woman. Oh, the woman. The woman smelled very girly and cooked food that was very spicy and spent a lot of time around the boy, and the boy for some reason did not seem to mind this, and this all confused the dog very much. And then one day, the boy and the woman, but mostly the woman, decided that there wasn't enough room in the people bed for the 3 of them, and that somebody should sleep on the floor. And instead of the woman sleeping on the floor, as per established rules of seniority, they put the dog on the floor. The dog was very upset. He did not like the woman, even though she fed him and bathed him and brushed him and walked him and run with him and gave him a lot of treats. She had a real liberal food under the table policy. Honestly, the woman was the best thing that ever happened to the dog. He realized that, and he decided to allow her to move in to the house with him and the boy, because the woman made the boy happy, and the dog loved when the boy was happy. And so the dog decided he loved the woman. And as the dog grew older, he never slowed down. He ran everywhere and kissed every visitor that came to our house and ate every Cheez-It that ever got dropped. And then one night at 3 a.m., the boy and the woman shot out of bed and ran out of the house. And the dog was scared, because the woman had seemed different the past couple months. She was bigger, even though nobody ever said that out loud, especially the boy. Everybody knew, but we never said it. But the dog knew that the boy was scared, especially that night that they got up at 3 a.m. and ran out. The boy was pretending to be brave for the woman, but the dog always knew. And when the boy came home a couple hours later to pack a bag, he was alone and he wasn't pretending anymore. And so the dog comforted the boy. He put his head on the boy's lap and his paw on the boy's leg. And he looked the boy in the eye just like he did when his dad was in the hospital and his grandparents had passed away, and he reminded them that there was enough love in his heart to be capable of whatever was worrying him. And then 10 days later, Zoe, you came home. You'd spent 10 days hooked up to machines and wires and tubes, and you were finally free. And the boy and the woman could not put you down or look away from you, and the dog was very jealous. Then the first night, when you cried out, the boy popped up, and the woman popped up, and the dog popped up too. And the dog laid at the woman's feet while you ate, and he laid at your crib until you fell back asleep. And he did that every night for the rest of his life, because he realized that just like the woman, the little girl made the boy very happy. And the dog loved when the boy was happy. So the dog decided he loved the little girl too. And you two had a special bond and a secret language, which we found out about when you said your first word.
Zoe, who's that guy? That's Linus, that's right.
What? Linus is the dog's name, and your first word, not mama or dada, but Linus, because you, Zoe, are a dog person. You were born a dog person, and you will always be a dog person, which is great, because dogs are amazing. They love us and comfort us and protect us and remind us that everything's going to be okay. Linus loved every person he ever met and every moment he spent on this earth, and I hope that is the way that you live your life. Because that's the best way to live it. To understand that when you open yourself up to the world gives back to you with people who are incredible and experiences that are incredible. And if you need a dog to remind you of that, I'll make sure you always have one. But you'll never have another one like him. Your Linus, your first best friend. Love, Dad.